Hello, my name is Ivan Taylor, and I work for Policy Dynamics in Ontario, Canada. And today I'm going to talk to you about a system dynamics model of organizational resilience. I'm going to start by talking about the problem that was identified and the policies and programs that were identified to solve that problem, and how we studied these policies and programs using a system dynamics approach. And then I'll talk about some results and discussion. So, what is the problem? An organization is suffering from a gradual reputation decline that is reflected in difficulties recruiting and retaining employees. This is a common problem in many organizations today. So, the behavior over time is that the problems were noticed in 2023. Recruiting and retention was down from the 2015 levels. So in 2023, policies and programs were introduced. And then we suggested that there should be an observation period to determine if the policies and programs are working. And then after the observation period, we can make a long-term plan about further implementation of policies and programs. So the policies and programs that were discussed for possibly improving the resilience of the organization and turning around these recruiting and retention trends were leader commitment to change, changing organizational practices, influencing policies, middle manager professional development, promoting community, strengthening employee skills, leadership skills of first line supervisors, work life balance, social support and connection, recruiting program quality, and stressors over time. By using a system dynamics approach, we looked at the causal relationships between these policies. So here we have the policies in the rows and the policies in the columns, and we have red and green squares representing positive and negative relationships. So a green square represents a positive relationship where, for example, leader commitment to change will help change the organizational practices. And a reduction in leader commitment to change will lead to a reduction in the ability to change organizational practices. So they move in the same direction, and there's a causal relationship. There's also red squares, which represent moving in the opposite direction. So stressors over time, if they increase, will create problems with work-life balance. And if stressors over time can decrease, that will improve the work-life balance. So if you're familiar with a statistical correlation matrix, this is similar, except we're talking here about causation, which is unidirectional instead of bidirectional. Last thing I want to show you is that we have recruiting and retention in the last two columns, and the policies that directly affect these recruiting and retention, but also these policies will indirectly affect recruiting and retention. So this is a simple way to look at the interconnections between the policies. However, when you look at the causal loop diagram, you'll see that this network matrix, it shows a very complex causal relationship. So these policies around the outer circle are highly interconnected, and and they also they affect recruiting and retention in the middle of the circle. So this shows the true complexity of this system of policies and programs. So we built a system dynamics model based on these networks, and we got these results. So to begin with, we felt that this should be on a relative scale with 2015 representing a nominal value of 1, where the recruiting and retention problems were not very bad. And then there was a gradual decline in recruiting, and that gradual decline took a while to be noticed. And it was noticed in 2023 that the recruiting was dropping considerably from the 2015 levels. So in 2023, the organization began implementing the policies that I discussed in the previous section. However, we projected that these policies would take time to be implemented and that there was a lot of momentum and inertia in the system that would lead to a worse before better situation. So the problem would continue to get worse for the next couple of years before we saw the policies making the turning around the recruiting problem. And and then after a few years of observation, we can start to see the results of the policies, and we might then decide to go in one of these three directions. We might, for example, feel that the problem is solved and go back to our old ways. And in this case, we would see that there is still some inertia in the system, and we would see in this case a better before worse scenario where the current policies would still have a positive influence for a number of years before we would start to see a decline going back to the previous problem of recruiting. Or we could sustain those policies and continue with them for their duration, and we might see the system going back to the 2015 level of recruiting. Or we might double down on the policies and put more effort into implementing those policies, and we might see an improvement in the future over and above the 2015 levels. The situation is the same in the retention scenarios. We see the problem, the, the baseline of 2015 and the gradual decline in retention of employees. That's noticed in 2023, and then policies are introduced, and we see a worse before better scenario again as it takes time to implement the policies and time for those policies to take effect. And then we see a gradual increase in the retention, and then we make we can, after an observation period, we can decide whether to continue with the policies in the blue line, go back to our old policies in the red line, or double down and try to increase the resilience of the organization over and above the 2015 levels in the green line. So as some discussion about this work, we noticed that gradual decline in reputation must be recognized, and that reputation can be hard to change because of the amount of inertia in the system. And there will be a delay before seeing results from policies because of um, the time it takes to introduce the policies and the time it takes to reverse the the momentum that happened in the past. And then effort cannot be relaxed once improvements are seen, or you go back to having the same problems again. So if you have any questions or comments about this work, feel free to contact me at this email address, and I'd be happy to discuss how this model might be helpful for your organization. Thank you for your attention. I hope to talk to you soon.